I'm William Omembe with Business Time. This is a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And coming up in the program today, we look at the possible impact of the recently experienced dry spell in some parts of the country on food security and inflation outlook. And also in the program, Malawi to reap from $3.9 million African Development Bank support. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome. This is Business Time, and in our main story in the program, prolonged dry spells in some parts of the country and forecasts of further rainfall deficits in the southern region and parts of the central region are raising fears of another year of low food output. It follows a caution by the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services to persistent dry condition in coming weeks. Over 50% of the country's districts, including Balaka, Mangochi, and Salima, are experiencing the dry spells. The development comes as the government pins hope on the strong agriculture season to stabilize food supply and support the ailing economy. But as Benedetta Chiwandamia reports, the outlook remains mixed in Make and farmers are desperate. Welcome back. Portland Cement Malawi Limited has increased its cement production to 70% capacity, a development expected to save the country more than $30 million annually by reducing reliance on imported cement. Chief Executive Officer for Portland Cement Malawi Limited said the increased output follows the company's investment of over 200 billion kwacha in a new cement plant in Balaka, which has raised production capacity to 800,000 metric tons per year. He said the expanded capacity will support national infrastructure development while assuring a steady supply of cement on the local market.
Okay. It promised to be a very good agriculture season, but prolonged dry spells along the way has raised new concerns in terms of food security this year. When the rainfall season started in November, December, thereabout, it promised to be a good season whereby even the government was banking on a good agricultural season to replenish the food supply, and that would also play well in terms of inflation, in terms of the overall market sentiments and the overall economy. Because being an agrarian economy, Malawi relies mostly on agriculture production, which influences other section of the economy. But with maize being affected, especially in the southern region, due to prolonged dry spells, it has raised new concerns for farmers. For example, here in Tie Kuntaja in Blantyre, where we are at, the picture in the fields looks gloomy. And this has even raised concerns in terms of the farmers themselves to say if it's not going to be a good season, if the rainfall prolongs, or if the erratic rainfall pattern continues, this is a worrisome development for farmers. Some of them that we have talked to, they have already disclosed that the market sentiments are also responding to the potential harvest that is going to be there this time around, because no maize means no food for the houses, and even the vendors in areas where the dry spells have negatively impacted the fields have started responding to the same. We saw maize prices going down in December, in November, going into January. That was because there was a good sentiment that farmers are going to harvest more yields. But now with the prolonged dry spells, it means that that hope is slowly dying, and if the rains don't come quickly, it's going to be problematic. Some of the farmers we have talked to here in Tie Kuntaja, they have mentioned that it's been 2 weeks since they last experienced rainfall, and if that continues, it means it's going to affect a harvest.
Pamunda vano mene mukuonera vulo ndiferereza komanso mvula chibwino after 2 weeks sinabwereso mpaka na vano.
As you can see, we haven't had rainfall for the past 2 weeks, and fertilizer has also been scarce. we are already struggling to access food. Currently, we are buying maize at 6,500 for a 5-liter tin. With the size of my family, a 5-liter tin of maize takes us 2 to 3 days to consume.
Mvula kumayambirira oku imagwa bwino koma panopa sikugwa bwinoyi.
It has been over a week now since we had rainfall. At first we were experiencing adequate rainfall, but then it stopped, and the results are what you are seeing from the field.
Sitinathire pazifukwa zokuti maina sanatuluke paja maina amachokera kuchimphika ndi maina athu sanabwere apapa ndi mmene zililimu.
Our worry is that if this dry spell prolongs, we are going to face food insecurity. To worsen the situation, we did not apply any fertilizer because we could not access coupons.
Chikhulupiriro chinali pamene pakuti mvula ndi mmene inayambira bwinomu timati anthu fe basi tikolola.
Nkhani ya mvula sikuyenda bwino. Mundamu mmene mukuona mmene mulilimu mvula panopa kuti 2 weeks isanabwere komanso kuli chilala ndi njala yomwe.
We have been experiencing dry spells. It's been 2 weeks since the rains came. Currently, we are already struggling to access food. We thought we are going to have a good harvest this season.
Sinatsike kuno kuplanta ya kwankata tukugwabe movuta tikati taje kuli mwera bigula maganyu tukugula ufa 1000 kuti tingodya kuno kunde kuli chala sanami. Panopa zina beza sikabe kupabe zina besu kukwera monga ina sugar.
But that is no longer the case. If the rains don't come very soon, we are likely to face hunger. I get about 4 to 8 bags of maize from this food, which covers my family for about 8 months.
Bagi 7. Ndoti zikavula ndoti mabagi 4 ndi half. Komano ndimene zavutia mwa papa zaja kujaso palibe.
All in all, a good harvest means adequate food supply, and that means a potential slowdown in inflation, which is already at 27%. And a bad harvest means the opposite.
Malawi is among 13 African countries set to benefit from a new $3.9 million African Development Bank technical assistance project aimed at turning national energy plants into concrete electricity connections under the Mission 300 initiative. The 2-year project, known as the African Energy Sector Technical Assistance Program, Mission 300 Phase 2, will support countries to implement their national energy compacts. It outlined how governments intend to expand electricity access, strengthen power utilities, and attract private investment. In a statement, FDB says the program will provide direct technical assistance to over the next 24 months to help countries move from documented plans to actual electricity connections for homes, schools, hospitals, and businesses. We have the whole story in this report read in our studios by Maui Gowero.
Other beneficiaries of the African Development Bank Technical Assistance Project include Chad, Gabon, Tanzania, Mauritania, the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, Kenya, Nigeria, Madagascar, Ethiopia, Lesotho, Namibia, and Uganda. The bank said the second phase will focus on improving electricity regulations, planning, and tariff systems. It will unlock investment, strengthen utilities to reduce losses and improve reliability, and place expert advisors within national compact delivery and monitoring units to coordinate reforms and track progress. In a statement, AFDB Director for Energy Financial Solutions, Policy and Regulation, Wale Shonibare, said countries had made ambitious commitments through their energy compacts. This new phase follows the approval of ASTAP Mission 300 Phase 1 in December 2025, which provided about $1 million to help countries establish and operate their compact delivery and monitoring units. Energy policy experts say policy frameworks are in place but require more resources to realize the 70% electricity connections coverage target by 2030. Under Mission 300, Malawi is implementing the Accelerating Sustainable and Clean Energy Access Transformation ASCENT program with a $250.8 million World Bank grant signed in January 2025. It is aimed at increasing national electricity access from about 25% to 70% by 2030. According to the Malawi National Energy Compact, achieving this target will require an additional 1.15 million on-grid connections and 1.55 million off-grid connections, as well as expanding installed generation capacity by 848 megawatts through a mix of technologies. Mission 300 is a joint AFDB World Bank initiative seeking to connect 300 million Africans to electricity by 2030. Meanwhile, in June last year, the World Bank approved a $315 million, about 612 billion kwacha grant for Mpatamanga hydropower project, one of key projects to help improve energy supply in Malawi. The project is expected to commence this year and finish by 2030 is earmarked as a game changer for the country, which continues to grapple with low power generation affecting businesses and households. In a recent interview, Public-Private Partnership Commission Chief Executive Officer Patrick Kabambe on prospects said the project involves the construction of hydropower and transmission facilities for the Mpatamanga main dam, regulating dam, hydropower infrastructure, and transmission lines. The facility will be implemented under a public-private partnership through Mpatamanga Hydropower Limited, a special-purpose vehicle jointly owned by Electricité de France, SN Power Malawi.
Remember, this is Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country, and my name is William Kumwembe. We'll be right back.
We only close several months since last year, so it's not long. So mainly because that our cement is all consumed in southern market, which is not enough. So then we don't have additional capacity to supply to this warehouse and to Lilongwe market. So, but now after we have the Balaka new plant, so we have enough capacity to supply the whole country. So then we have the reopen of this warehouse. So we have full confidence that to come back. So that is based on the ability of the company. So both Portland is first cement player in the country. Huaxin is also have more than 100 years history to do cement. And it's a group that not only have 150 million tons per year cement capacity, but also has its own equipment design and manufacture. We have the best cement plant in Malawi in terms of efficiency and cost control. So, and also for quality, more importantly, is for quality control. So in this background, we have full confidence to come back, and the value we delivered to clients and the distributors, it will be seen quickly. So we have full confidence. No, so so to supply the whole country, but at the same time we also have capacity to do exportation. So we are doing both. Actually, the export and the comeback to other markets of Malawi actually is already doing now.
Meanwhile, National Bank of Malawi has so far disbursed over 3.2 billion kwacha to cement suppliers and transporters as part of efforts to strengthen collaboration with productive sectors of the country. The bank says its financing is aimed at supporting the entire cement supply chain, from procurement from Portland cement, transportation, distribution, wholesaling and retailing, in order to enhance efficiency and availability of the product nationwide.
When you look at the requirements of Portland, for Portland to give someone a distributorship and to maybe to supply the product, they need the bank. They need payment guarantees, they need working capital. So that is where now the two companies came together to say, okay, we can help our customers. So what National Bank is bringing in this partnership is, number one, to providing financing, and not just financing, but we are making it easier to them. We are also making it cheaper. Okay, but I'm saying we're making it easier because ordinarily, for one, for example, to access credit facility, be it a guarantee or working capital guarantee, they would require issues like collateral. So we are saying, because they are our mutual customers, we can be able to provide the same without collateral. But we're also saying we will be able to give them the payment guarantees and credit facilities at a reduced pricing. So what we have done is taking the ordinary pricing that we charge an ordinary customer to get a payment guarantee. We have slashed it a bit to make it cheaper for the cement dealers, exclusively for Portland. And at the same time, we are also coming with a package of payment solutions. So handling cash is a bit cumbersome and expensive. So what we are saying is we want a seamless solution that will take away involvement of cash to online payment platforms.
Now, in other business news, local financial services firm Swift Capital has affirmed commitment to contributing towards the national financial inclusion agenda. Swift Capital Insurance Brokers Chief Executive Officer Mphatso Kanzingen Zulu said in an interview the firm is positioned to contribute towards addressing challenges clients face by helping them inculcate a saving culture and providing advisory. This comes as Malawi lags in both its financial inclusion drive and the insurance penetration. According to Kanzingen Zulu, lower than expected level of disposable income among Malawians, coupled with low illiteracy levels on finance, continue to hamper growth in so many sectors. He said the firm is therefore positioned to redefine the insurance broking in landscape for both corporate and individual clients.
It is still low, probably one of the lowest in the region. But if you check how our friends have progressed, is these collaborations. So there's products that have been embraced, for example, bank assurance. Now banks are able to sell insurance products. They're working with even insurance brokers because we go out looking for business. Then they also have already a base of customers that they're working with. So it's easy to use their channels to reach out and help in terms of penetration. But I still think it's a big issue of products. We need to come up with products that will resonate with the masses and then they can buy. Another area is where we probably use mobile network operators. You'll agree with me that every household, at least one person has a phone. I know the penetration is also low, but insurance is low. So if we use even the mobile networks, they should be able to also help in terms of reaching out to clients and the products that are there to be offered. But the issue also that you touched on, disposable income, that's why now we have, for example, ourselves, a microfinance on the other side, because then we'll be able to assist them with funds that they will use to pay for premium. You may wish to know, excuse me, you may wish to know that insurance now is cash and carry. It's a directive which the Reserve Bank has issued. So before cover is in force, you have to pay in advance. So banks, microfinance or financial institutions will have now to be creative on how best they can assist in terms of the local person on the market. You see, most people indeed are not registered, but these people are out there trading. It's just that they've not been brought into the system. So you have people that are selling informally. Those are people that have products they're working with, but they've not been brought into the system. So for example, if you have to check credit reference for them, you will not find them. But these are people that are using the structures, but our system has not brought them to be registered. So that's why I'm saying these are people that if you create a product that will resonate with them, then they'll be able now to come into the system and be registered. And then you find that they're now part of the formal structure that is being used. So for example, maybe my uncle in the village, he's not, if you go to CRB to check his name, you will not find him. But he has livestock. He has probably not even, he doesn't have an account, but he has money, keeps them somewhere. So if we reach out and say, there's a product, this money that you have, probably you can keep it in a bank, or there's this product you can pay using a mobile network platform. Those people are already using that. So if you give them and they're aware and you give them the benefits, then you find that they'll be able to buy those products. For example, maybe on the life side, funeral covers. You know, people are using just the phone, and then they know, okay, they are told. If you explain properly, you find that more people will buy those products, because then they're able to see how beneficial it is in the event of an unfortunate incident.
Well, with that story, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program, Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. Thank you for watching, but always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Stay safe and goodbye for now.